just really fascinating to me. And I knew there was something up with this guy. So I was down in Portland first time, end of September. I think it was like September 28th or something. And off in the distance outside the Portland ICE facility, of course, as the riots and the protests had been ongoing, I saw my friend Katie Davis-Gord. She had a security guard next to her, but she was being encircled and surrounded by a group of black-clad, far leftist thugs. And I have these pictures. Nicole, if you could pull these up. So I've highlighted this guy's face. There was this freaky looking guy who was harassing her and was part of this group of militants. And it was vile. I mean, it was really scary. And she decided she was going to stand her ground and stood there for like an hour while they were in her face saying all sorts of horrible things. Her security guard, I think he ended up getting, assaulted, and they tried to break her camera or something like that. But that guy always stood out to me. And one of the things while this was happening that I noticed is, Portland police were nearby and they weren't doing anything. Like, to them, it was like, you can surround a woman and intimidate and harass her and try to grab her camera, and we're not going to do anything about it. In fact, Katie decided that she wanted to file a police report for the threats and for the attempt to break her camera. And Portland police told her that she needed to leave the area in order to do that. Here's that video I took back in September.
Don't come back. Stay in Seattle, Katie. You useless
Yeah, so it's Katie doing nothing wrong, doing her job as a journalist who has to leave the area, go down the block, file a police report. You think anything ever happened to that police report? Of course not. The same thing with nothing ever happened to me when I was assaulted down in Portland, even though I've had multiple follow-ups with the Portland police detective, and I even gave them a name and a picture of the person who I think assaulted me, and I have heard nothing back. Maybe not a surprise. But here, upon seeing this post from FBI Portland, I immediately remembered that moment and remembered this man. So this guy that Portland PD has now arrested and charged, not related to Katie's incident, but something else. His name is John Paul Cupp, but he uses the Muslim names Walid and Abu Nasubai al-Amirki. He is just some white dude who's a convert to Islam, just a white dude, okay? Convert to Islam, who's part of these radical, dangerous far-left activists. So here's what Portland police say they did. They said John Paul Cupp, 45, made his initial appearance today after allegedly making violent threats at the ICE building in South Portland. Cupp has been charged by criminal complaint with threats made against a federal law enforcement officer. According to court documents, on October 14th, 2 weeks after I took that video of him being part of this crowd that was harassing and intimidating Katie, Cupp began yelling insults at law enforcement officers as they were approaching a crowd. He threatened to kill them, sexually assault their wives, and harm their children. On November 3rd, Cupp posted a video online reiterating these same threats to federal agents and their wives. On November 13th, he continued posting violent threats online to officers and their families. According to FBI Portland, he is a prolific producer of online content and regularly posts aggressive rhetoric, calls for war against the United States, anti-Semitic threats, and threats of violence. They provided 2 examples of the kind of content that he posts under his Muslim name, Walid al-Amirki. An effective revolutionary must yearn in tears for martyrdom. In this way, you are an unbreakable and live life in an elevated, liberated way, even in poverty and repression. An effective revolutionary must yearn in tears for martyrdom. He goes on to say, Allah took everything from me and knocked me on my ass to send me off the Yahya Sinwar road to socialism for Portland. I call bullshit on these revolutionary groups. Would you actually kill and die for our young people? Building that unitary mission until I flop over, my brains are on the sidewalk, or they dump me in a cell. Allah Akbar, power to the people. Now, I knew, looking at him, that this was a dangerous degenerate that day where he's facing off with Katie. Can you show those pictures again, Nicole? Now I think about what he is charged with, and now what I know him to be, the pictures with Katie. And now I wonder what he was thinking about Katie in that moment. Now I wonder what he was thinking about doing to Katie in that moment. And it sends shivers up my spine. She stood there like a boss-ass bitch. And she decided, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to stand down in the face of this angry mob of militants who police in Portland were more than happy to sit back and watch harass a woman. And one of them now federally charged by the FBI for saying he would kill federal agents and rape their wives. Saying he wants to be a martyr for the cause of socialism until his brains are on the sidewalk or they dump him in a cell. Well, I guess it's going to be the latter. I guess they're going to dump him in a cell. But man, that makes me even prouder to know Katie Davis Court, and even prouder of the work that she does down there. And the many, many times where during this moment, the media pretending like what's happening in Portland isn't a big deal. The media pretending like we're making up Antifa. We're making up a problem with far left militants. We're making up the issue of how dangerous they truly are. This is the kind of person who's in that crowd and who's been in that crowd. This is the kind of person we've been faced with when in those crowds. And now he's showing his true colors. Disgusting and really terrifying stuff.